Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing a book review over How I Live Now by Meg Rosoff. How I Live Now was published in 2004 by Random House Publishers, and it won the Prince Award in 2005. It's approximately 194 pages long, so you can easily knock it out in 1 or 2 sittings. It was also adapted to the big screen last year in 2013, and I will be doing a movie review over that in my next video. How I Live Now is a first-person narrative by the main character, Daisy. At the beginning of the novel, she lives in New York City with her dad and stepmother. She does not have a good relationship with either one of them, and she's not looking forward to her new sibling that would be arriving soon. On top of her bad attitude, she is also struggling with an eating disorder, and it is suggested that she has been to several therapists. So in combination of all of those things and her really bad relationship with her dad, she's shipped off to England to live with her cousins in the English countryside. Shortly after her arrival, England is attacked by an unknown enemy, and you never really know who this enemy is throughout the entire novel. However, you do know that it is equivalent to a World War III outbreak. Because they do live in the countryside and her aunt is away at the time of the attack, they are pretty much isolated. And aside from losing power and not having access to a telephone, there is a shortage of food and a lack of medicine. But despite all of that, they sort of found this blissful way to live because there's really no adults around to tell them what to do. Daisy does develop a relationship with one of her cousins, Edmund, and at first reading it, you're very uncomfortable with the whole thing because incest is very taboo and frowned upon in our real life society. However, I feel that the author did a really good job of making us okay with the relationship by the end of the novel, mainly because in the grand scheme of things, being in love with your cousin just doesn't seem that important when you have a very good chance of dying in the middle of a war. So I think maybe the author made that comparison on purpose because it seemed like such a little thing by the end of the novel. Daisy does develop a really close relationship with her other cousins, Osbert, Isaac, and Piper. Piper being the only girl cousin out of all of them. Soon the military kind of come in and Piper and Daisy are separated from their brothers and sent to live elsewhere. From then on, the rest of the book is about surviving and Daisy and Piper getting back to the boys. There's a very strong teen voice of this book, and I was sort of walking the fence of being annoyed by it and sort of being impressed by it. I think that the author captured the teen voice very well, but even when I was a teenager, I was annoyed by teenagers, so the teen voice just kind of gets to me every once in a while. But overall, I really love the story and what the author was trying to convey. I also really like the relationships between Daisy and her cousins, not just Edmund, who she was pretty much in love with. You could see Daisy sort of coming out of her shell throughout the novel and really letting them in. And also, you really see Daisy dealing with her eating disorder, and since there is such a shortage of food in the novel, you sort of see her thinking, well, everyone's starving now, but I've been starving a lot longer than this. Some of the things I didn't like or that highly annoyed me was the lack of punctuation and the random capitalizations. It was so bad that I actually stopped in the middle of the book and went to my computer to look up the rules of capitalization just to make sure I wasn't wrong and getting things mixed up. I'm not sure what the point of the random caps and lack of quotations and things like that was, and I really feel the need to reread it again to see if maybe I missed something. And if there was a point, I think that it might have done more harm than good in my situation because I just found it annoying and distracting. Maybe it was to enhance the fact that this is a teen telling this story, but again, I didn't really care for it. And the other thing I had a problem with was the cousin incestuous relationship, but I'm sort of on the fence about it. It still made me feel uncomfortable and uneasy, and maybe that was the point. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I think that it definitely deserved the Prince Award that it got, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who enjoys war novels, dystopians, and I wouldn't necessarily classify it as apocalyptic because to me, apocalyptic is far more sciencey and religious and end of the world, whereas this is definitely a war novel. There's a difference in my head. So my final rating is a solid A. It's not quite an A+ because of the issues I did have with it, but it's still an A. way, it's still a pretty darn good book. So if you can see past that, please read it. On another positive note, there definitely were some great quotes that I marked that I think I'll be saving. I just really love her writing and I really enjoyed this book, so I would highly recommend it. You can find How I Live Now on betterworldbooks.com. I had mentioned Better World Books in a previous bookmark video, and I fell in love with the site so much that I became an affiliate. So I have left links down below for you to go and check out the book. You can purchase it used, new, or as an e-reader for super cheap, and you're doing some good in the process. And when you purchase it through my link, you're supporting this channel and you're also supporting thenightowlpost.com. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for subscribing. You will see me very soon with a movie review over How I Live Now. Bye!